Hi everyone, welcome back to Metanoia. My name is Carrie Jane. Today we're going to be talking about what it means to be a lightworker. And before I get into the thick of it, I would first like to explain my reasons for making this video. And the first reason is very simply just to introduce the idea to those who have never heard of it before, or perhaps they have heard of it before but only in the context that was given to them, which can potentially be limiting. The second reason is to just very simply also open a philosophical discussion, because as I'm going to show in this video, it's very easy to just pick up anything online, literally anything, whether it's an article or something that someone told you, and then take that on to yourself and do whatever you want with it, and then it kind of becomes like a game of telephone, and then you use that information and you give it to the next person and the next person and the next person, and then by the end of the day we have this distorted thing that did not start out the way it did, okay, just because of this confusing existence where we have to communicate through words and we can interpret everything in many different ways. And if we're not opening dialogues about specifically what this word means to me, how I'm going to use this idea, how I relate to it, if you don't get really specific about that and honest about that, it can become very distorted and convoluted and difficult to communicate to those who we are supposed to be helping. So that's another reason. And the last reason is to identify the diverse ways that one can actually be a light worker, which is very exciting. So I hope that this video is useful to you, and I hope that it's something that enriches your little encyclopedia of spiritual stuff. And yeah, let me know what you think by the end of the video, and let's get started. So out of curiosity, I googled this question, and I'm going to read to you the first answer that I got. It says, the purpose of a lightworker is to wake up the people that inhabit this beautiful planet and connect them with their true divine spirit. Our role is to teach oneness and close the separation gap that occurs when people forget that they are spiritual beings having a physical experience and not the other way around. And for the most part, I agree with this statement. Well, before I get into it, this is, I think, by Sarah Prout, and it'll probably be like the first response you get as well. But yeah, for the most part, this is very well put, in my opinion, and I agree with this. But at the same time, there's something very contradictory to it, so let me explain that. The first sentence identifies a separation between people who are light workers and people who are not light workers. And the way it kind of hints at is that people who are conscious and people who are unconscious. And that's fine. But then in the second sentence, it mentions closing the separation. So we're here to tackle and eliminate separation consciousness. But in the first sentence, we illustrated separation. There is this, it's saying the separation, there's people who know, who are awakened, and then there's people who are not awakened. And that's what makes this very contradictory to me. And so even though I'm interpreting this in a way where I know that mostly what we're here to do is to eliminate all kinds of separation, there are a lot of people who actually interpret this a different way. They, in the spiritual community especially, like that there are these people who are special, who know more than other people. This becomes an ego pursuit, like I spoke of in my video, What is Ego? It becomes like, a way to feel special about yourself, like I'm doing this work and no one else is, and I'm better than everyone. And of course, that's not how people are coming across as immediately. That's not what people are saying. But if you are like me and spent your whole life being the only human being in your vicinity, asking questions that are very deep, like what is this and why are we doing it this way, and kind of trying to be a force of good in the world, and you're that only person, it's really easy to fall into a little bit of like an ego pursuit or God complex, where you're thinking, I'm right, everyone is wrong, or I'm more aware than everyone and everyone else is less aware. And this, on some level, may be true, okay? There are generally people who are unconscious and conscious, but in this video, in this topic, when you are a light worker, this is not what we're here to focus on. So that is just a very important thing I want to make a distinction of moving forward, so that in the second part of this video, just keep that in mind when I'm explaining the ways that you can be a light worker. So having said all this, I want to redefine, what it means to be a light worker. And I have a very simple definition for it, and that is a light worker is someone who remediates the world with light. Period. That's it. No, see here, there's people who are here and people who are here, and we need to get them here. No, just people who are here to remediate or restore the world with light. Done. That is the definition that I would like to use. So let's discuss some examples of what this could look like, because there are many ways in which this manifests here. The first one I have listed is incarnating in specific lineages, in specific locations, to restore that family tree by making different choices. And so I'm listing this one first because I think this is the most common. Most of us believe in reincarnation. You don't have to, but when you're a light worker, there is this belief that you came here for a purpose. And for most of us, we chose our family for a very good reason. And typically what we're here to do is kind of insert ourselves into this karmic family wheel, no matter how hard it may be, and just simply make different choices. And all of us have this inherited kind of like bad choices that our family has made, because our family is human beings like all of us, and no one is separate from this karmic wheel, this difficult earth lesson that we all came here to learn. So I really like this example, because often in this community we think that we have to be these really, really special things in a spotlight, and everything is perfect and this and that, and we need to be like a public figure, or what have you, anything. But it's like, no, you really could be someone that no one knows at all and still be a light worker, because you are the first one in your family to say, no, I'm stopping the cycle here. We're not making this choice anymore. Instead, we're going to shift this energy and we're going to put it on that. So that's, I think, the most common way that we're all here helping out. The second example of a light worker I would like to talk about is one that you know very well. It's one of the most acknowledged light worker examples, and it's being a light worker through the sense of being peaceful, being uplifting. It's that person that you don't know why, but you feel better when they're in the room with you. They might have a very calming effect, or maybe they're very uplifting, they're a very positive person when you need it. And this again might be a no one. In a lot of Dolores Cannon's work that I read, people would come to her saying, I feel like I came here for something very important, but I'm also a very unimportant person, at least from our societal standards. Like, they felt like they should be doing more with their lives, but they didn't know what. So they would go to her, and what they found out about these people is that even though they were just hairdressers or, just some other what we would consider like a basic occupation in life, it's actually exactly what they were meant to do. Unbeknownst to them, whenever they were interacting with someone on a very basic level, they were helping them. So that is, I think, the second most acknowledged Lightworker type, at least in my book. But I want to make it less. I want to weight it less on these are people that you know on television and on these on a YouTube channel who has tons of followers and everyone loves them, and more like it's the person that you see in a restaurant making your food, and it's their art and it's their life, and they want to make that art and share it with you. So something like that. It's a very personal level. It's like you're gonna walk out the door and see this person type of thing. So the third one that I want to mention that's extremely important, that is unacknowledged, is the kind of light worker who actually works with shadow. This person is someone who is capable of being in the worst situations, in the worst circumstances that are imaginable and unimaginable on planet Earth. And they've decided to put themselves in these very difficult situations so that something can be there to transform it. And this is a long list of people. This could be in the category of, rebels, revolutionaries, activists. That's why I kind of laugh at all this distortions online about light workers who are just supposed to be happy, positive all the time, which is, if you ask me, creepy. To me, the most powerful light worker goes into the deepest, disgusting, swampy, just awful part of humanity so that they can change it. And those are the people who have their warrior spirit face on, and they're going to the rallies, and they are, chaining themselves to trees, and raising awareness on things that's we are not exposing fast enough and not talking about enough because of this perpetuated unconsciousness that our society is promoting. So that is, I think, one of the most common shadow working light workers. But also, let's take account in firefighters, ER doctors, policemen, investigators, people who go into these fields for the right reason, not because of, anything else other than they have the strength to be in those situations, witness it, and survive it, and then help. So that's, like I said, probably the most powerful kind of light worker there is right now. And last but not least, let's talk about my fourth example of a light worker, and these are entertainers. And I know most people are going to disagree with me. It doesn't matter what that person is talking about. If that person is up on stage and they're making you laugh, that person is freeing you of concern. They are light workers. They bring light to the world. We need to laugh. We do need mild distractions sometimes, especially when we're going through extremely difficult parts of our lives where we need a break mentally. And these this is what I'm getting at here. We've listed all these examples of what it is to be a light worker, which brings us to the end of this video. What is a light worker? It's everyone. And that's where I'm going to get a lot of dislikes on this video, because there's going to be like the people who are saying, but what about the people who are perpetuating this nonsense? What about the people who are making this experience the reason why we have to do all this work in the first place? People who are either perpetuating the unconsciousness or are just doing the most vile, disgusting things to other people on this planet. My answer to that is yes, they are still a light worker. They are a lost light worker. And perhaps the most important thing a light worker is here to do, or the main thing that they're here to do, is to remind everyone of that. To create a space where people can remember that they are lost in this way, that they did not come here to do this, and it's time to go home. We're all just walking each other home at the end of the day, no matter who we are. And for every single human being, this process is going to look like something different, and it's going to take a different amount of time. There are certain souls who want to do this forever, who just want to be that lost soul who uses and abuses everything and everyone. And that's their choice. That's their free will choice. But there is, no matter what, an inherent aspects born within each soul, each spark, each human being that has this purpose of being a light worker, of being someone who has purpose. And that is what this video is about at the end of the day. This video was less about identifying and separating people and typing them and categorizing them, and more about reminding you about your purpose, about purpose, period, capital P. So this was a bit of a heavy topic, but nonetheless a very important one. I'm glad that I made this video. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine, because I can't monopolize truth, another video I made. And I'm not here to tell you what your truth needs to be. I'm here to have an honest exploration and an honest conversation about things that I've been noticing, and all the various topics that we come across when we're doing this kind of work, and when we awaken and we start asking big questions and making consciousness a priority in our lives. So thank you all so very much for watching. I'm sorry if this video was too long. I know that when you're just looking for an answer, it's hard to get through this much video. But if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Subscribe and hit the bell notification if you actually want to know when I'm posting. And also, I'm a numerologist, so check out my playlists on numerology. I have a ton of free info on my channel right now, as well as ways for you to get a reading with me. There are two, and just check out the links in the description if you want to do that. So yeah, thank you all again so very much. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you all soon. So bye.